You didn't become cold, you just became clear. At first, it didn't feel like growth. It felt like something was missing. You noticed it in small moments. The way you didn't react as quickly anymore. The way certain things just didn't hit you the same way. Messages that used to stay on your mind all day now felt lighter. Not unimportant, just not consuming. And for a while, you questioned it. Why am I not feeling this the same way? Why am I not reacting like I used to? A part of you wondered if you were becoming distant, if you were becoming cold. Because before, everything meant something. Every delay, every tone, every small shift, you felt all of it. You analyzed it, you replayed it, you tried to understand it, and most of all, you reacted to it. But now, something had changed. Not suddenly, not dramatically, just quietly. You still noticed things, you still understood what was happening, but you didn't feel the need to chase every thought anymore. You didn't feel the urge to respond to everything immediately. You didn't feel like you had to fix every silence. And that confused you, because you weren't used to this version of yourself. This version that could pause, that could observe, that could let things be. It almost felt like you were losing something. At times, you even wondered if you were overthinking in a different way, giving too much mental energy just to not respond. But you weren't. You were just no longer losing yourself. You see, before, you didn't just care. You overextended. You overanalyzed. You overreacted. Not because you were weak, but because you were deeply invested. You gave your attention, your energy, your emotional state to things that didn't always deserve that level of access. And slowly, that turned into something else. Emotional dependency. When the messages felt close, you felt high. Almost like everything was right again. But it only took one message that felt distant to bring everything down. Your mood, your thoughts, your entire day started depending on something so small. And now, you were starting to take that back. Not forcefully, not out of anger, not to prove a point, just naturally. You started choosing when to respond, choosing what actually deserved your energy, choosing what mattered and what didn't. And in that process, you became quieter, not because you had nothing to say, but because not everything needed to be said. You became calmer, not because you stopped feeling, but because you stopped reacting to everything you felt. And slowly, you started to see things differently. You saw patterns you used to ignore. You understood behaviors without needing to question them endlessly. You accepted things without needing to force them to change. And that's when it hit you. You weren't becoming cold. You were becoming clear. Clear about what you deserve. Clear about what you tolerate. Clear about where you stand and where you don't anymore. So clear that you could barely recognize the version of you that used to depend on all of this. You didn't lose your feelings. You just stopped letting them control you. And maybe the most peaceful part of all this is you didn't have to force it. You didn't have to become someone else. You didn't have to pretend not to care. You just understood. And once you see things clearly, you can't unsee them. You don't react the same. You don't chase the same. You don't lose yourself the same way anymore. And that's not distance. That's not coldness. That's clarity.